Hello, this is JD Collier, and I'm going to put together a walk away video of my own, seeing that it is a movement that is getting a lot of traction and getting a lot of attention. And I actually like seeing people expressing themselves and giving their testimonials and basically seeing the process work. Personally, talk about my own walk away moment. I was born in 1970, so yeah, I'm 48 years old now. And back in those days, I was born fatherless, and I had to be on welfare as a baby. My mom, she was still a high school girl, and so that's how I got my start. And even though we were poor, apparently my mom was still a voter of the Republicans. So I didn't know this. As I was growing up, I was just a free lunch kid, okay, going to school, and there I was in first grade on election day 1976. And I come home and my mom, I saw her. I'm like, Mommy, are you going to vote for Jimmy Carter? And I remember exactly what she looked at me. She was sitting on the edge of the couch smoking a cigarette, and she looked me dead in the eye. She's like, absolutely not. And so that was my walk away moment, I suppose, because when I was in school, I didn't even know. I'm only 6 years old, first grade, and I didn't even know who the other candidate was who happened to be the president, Gerald Ford, basically. But all I knew was that they were pushing Jimmy Carter, Jimmy Carter, Jimmy Carter, Jimmy Carter. And so I ran home, and that's what I told my mom. And she says, absolutely not. So, well, as a kid, I got to see what happened with the Carter administration, okay? Every night there's the news. The economy is terrible. The inflation is bad. The oil crisis, the embargo stuff, and of course, the Iran hostages, okay? Every night, they're ABC News, it came 400 days. It was a terrible time in history, and that was a horrible feeling every night. There we go. America's down because the Iran hostage crisis, and then of course the president who became the next president was Ronald Reagan. He was elected in 1980, and at that age, I'm 10 years old. Ronald Reagan was the president during my teenage years, and I saw good things happen. I actually ended up going into the Navy because I saw how the Navy or the military got built up, and when I was 18 years old, I went into the military. So pretty much I've been voting since that time. I actually voted Republican that time. The next election came around in '92, but I did not vote Republican. In that case, I voted for that guy Ross Perot. I thought that would be a good choice, but basically my vote went towards the Democrat side at that point, and Bill Clinton came around. So he was my commander in chief for the 8 years that I was commissioned as an officer in the Navy. I got to see the debacle that unfolded right before my eye. Wasn't very happy that our commander in chief was getting into the nonsense he was getting into. So, well, needless to say, I have not been voting Democrat, okay? I've been voting conservative for most of my adult life, except for that one time with Ross Perot. And, this last election, I did vote for Trump. However, he wasn't my first choice. When I first went into the primaries, I didn't think that Trump would be somebody who could beat Hillary. I really thought that Marco Rubio had a better shot because I thought he would appeal to more people. And so he got my nod. Actually, he was out before my primaries came around. I live in Pennsylvania. But anyway, I did vote for Trump because I certainly wasn't going to vote for her. Seeing what happened with President Clinton, and I would expect the same nonsense, the same kind of scandalous, terrible stuff to happen if she were to be in office. So anyway, my walkaway moment, I would suppose, was when my mom said absolutely not. She wasn't going to vote, even though she was a poor woman and had been on social assistance and stuff like that. She still had some sense about her, and as far as I can tell, pretty good sense on voting. So, but I wanted to tell everybody about an idea that I have. You can see my shirt, Respect Not Pity. This is an idea that I think is a good one that would help us get rid of this problem of racism, okay? So since President Trump has been elected, there's been a lot of accusations out there coming from the left, obviously, that he is racist, and I haven't seen any evidence of it. But what I have is I have felt myself getting blamed because look at me, I'm a white guy, right? So I live in Pennsylvania. I've gone to New York City, and New York City, you know, they're pretty liberal there, and they don't want to have anything to do with President Trump. It's kind of strange. He came from New York City, but I have felt that because I'm white and I'm male, that suddenly that makes me, and because I'm conservative, I've been accused of being racist, bigot, and just an evil white male person, and that's certainly not me. My friends can tell you that that's certainly not me. I'm not racist in any way, but it really bothered me. So I've done some things. I've tried to address this thing. I actually started an I Stand movement with the concept of, hey, I stand for the colors. And so because of that, I've put together a YouTube video and tried to get that going. It hasn't gone too far. There's been a lot of resistance, especially on Facebook. I typed in Facebook. I put in, you know, as a conversation. One of the things I think we need to do for you know, just generally good citizenship is just to talk about stuff. Talk about what you feel. Listen to somebody else about how they feel, especially if they have a different opinion than yours. It's okay. You should respect them, and they should respect you. Okay, that it's a very important part of the whole process. And so, you know, when you're talking to somebody, you have a different opinion. Both of you can maybe you work it out, and you learn something whenever you talk to somebody who has a different opinion than yourself. So I like seeing what I'm seeing here. But as I was saying, when I'm talking into this chat room, or basically somebody, one of my Facebook friends, they're left liberal, okay, and they were saying that they wanted to find out like who would be not standing for the colors, and basically saying that was okay to not stand for the colors. I chimed in because I believe that you should stand for the colors. And I said this. I said, when I stand for the colors, I make the perfect protest against tyranny, against oppression, and against injustice. And then I hit enter. As soon as I hit enter, whoosh, it disappeared, and I never could find it again on Facebook. So that told me that Facebook was filtering my comments, and I'm not happy about that. I'm not happy about anybody being censored for what they're saying, okay? And I was having a very civil conversation, and that's all I said is what I just told you. When I stand for the colors, for the concept of freedom, I make the perfect protest against tyranny, against oppression, and against injustice. And that's how I feel. That's why I have no problem standing for the colors, okay? So I will not make anybody stand up. That's their choice, okay? If somebody wants to kneel or they want to do something other than stand and show respect, it's on them, okay? I'm not going to try to make them stand, or you know, I might give them a dirty look for sure, but you know, this is America. There may be a reason why somebody is not standing. There's no need to get violent, okay? But there is a need to have a dialogue and discuss things. And so that is one reason why when I see these videos, these walk-away videos, I'm just so happy and proud to see that Americans are doing this now. They're actually speaking up for themselves. They're thinking for themselves, which is so important. Not letting some narrative or some push by media or other political forces dictate how they're going to vote. They're not letting the skin color, their skin decide that. They're not letting their gender decide that. They're thinking for themselves and using their mind and thinking about what policies are important to them, and that is so wonderful, and I hope we keep doing that in America. Tomorrow is the election day for the midterm elections, and I'm gonna be voting, of course, and I'm gonna be excited to see what happens. I hope that this walkaway movement has a positive impact on our country, and that things go very well. So we'll see. In the meantime, I would like to invite anybody to take a look at what I'm putting out there on social media. Again, I'm JD Collier. I'm with Eagle Impact, and if you follow this hashtag, respect, not pity, you're going to find some things on there that I think you're going to agree with. And I'm proposing a way to tackle racism once and for all here in America, and it is with the use of two of our heroes, Franklin and Ulysses, Benjamin Franklin and Ulysses Grant. So I've actually designed this 150 years bill with the images of Benjamin Franklin, who's on the $100 bill, and Ulysses Grant, who appears on the 50. So if you add them together, you get 150, and that's what I have here. It's a 150. It's a 150 years bill. So basically, we had 150 years of slavery before this hero, Benjamin Franklin, signed the Declaration of Independence with the other heroes, okay? And that slavery was brought to us by the British Empire. So the tyranny of the British brought us 150 years of slavery. We were upset about it. We declared independence, okay? And so that's Benjamin Franklin, who also, he opposed slavery. In fact, he was part of the Abolition Society in Philadelphia. The northern states got rid of slavery pretty darn quick. And then, but the southern states held on to it. And then, of course, we had Civil War. 1865 was the end. And this guy, Ulysses Grant, he was the general who finally got the job done to defeat the Confederates. And shortly after that, Ulysses Grant ran for president. And in 1868, he was elected president of the United States. So it's 150 years ago, Ulysses Grant became elected president of the United States. So even though 150 years have gone by, we still have racism. But I'm saying right now, it is the end of the line for racism. Okay, right now we're drawing the line and we're saying this is it. No more racism in America. It's the end of the line for racism. Franklin, Ulysses, we are fed up with racism. So please, if you want to be part of this movement, look for Respect Not Pity. And there's going to be some social media things that I put out to basically broadcast that we're through with racism. And this walk away movement is one example of how America is being fed up with racism, and they're stepping away from political forces that cause them to vote a certain way, and I'm very glad for that. I love all Americans. I love Republicans and Democrats. Okay, why? Because they're my friends, they're my family, and they're my fellow citizens. What I don't love is ugly messages that go in people's heads that try to tell them how to think. I do not love that. So we have problems with that from both parties, okay? I'm pissed off at the Republicans. Yeah, I'm a registered Republican, but a lot of times I'm starting to think I'm now independent, okay? And I'll vote for whoever I want to. And I have voted for some Democrats, but primarily Republican, because usually I'm conservative, and that's generally, to me, that's the platform that meets most of the needs that I have for my family, because I want my family to be safe. I want myself to have a job. I want our economy to be strong, and so I feel like that's usually where the Republicans are. But again, I'm pissed off at the Republicans because they can do a better job, and they can definitely support our president better than they are. And let me say one more thing about the president, okay? Mr. President, I'm J.D. Collier, and yes, I voted for you, but I am still skeptical about your performance, okay? What I'm concerned about is your communication, all right? You have been communicating in a way that I do not approve of, and let's talk about that, all right? You are the President of the United States. You are a public servant, okay? I'm a private citizen, and you work for me. Got that? You're the President of the United States, but you work for me. And I'm not happy with the kind of communication I've seen. I've seen you wrestle in the mud in the pity box with the rest of the media, getting all silly, and that's acting a little bit immature for somebody of your age and stature. So I expect you in the next couple of years, I expect to see you acting more presidential, and I expect to see you doing things like, hey, maybe take, for example, how President Reagan did things. How about communicate in the way that he did, okay? He was called the great communicator, so he did a great job communicating to all Americans and towing the line and doing some good things for our policy, and he got us to finish the Cold War and those kind of things. So I'm going to stop right there. I'm telling you, President, you work for me. In fact, people in Congress, okay, all of you people that are elected, you work for each and every private citizen, okay? And we expect you to do your job, and don't pull a bunch of nonsense in politics, okay? Like wasting time. You should be passing laws and signing laws and executing laws instead of playing a bunch of politics. So let's get busy these next couple of years, and let's make America better, okay? This is J.D. Collier. Look for respect, not pity. Thank you very much. Walk away, America. Good luck on the election.